All right, we are live, and what are we talking about? I just found about this very interesting company yesterday, which is called General Matter. Let's see if Grok can find that. All right, General Matter, new startup, new startup that does uranium enrichment. Yes, 7 new of post. Perfect, you found it. US-based startup focus on uranium enrichment, specifically targeting the production of high assay low enriched uranium hello for advanced nuclear reactors, founded by Scott Nolan, a former SpaceX engineer and general partner at Founders Fund. The LA-based company emerged from stealth in April 25. April 25. Okay. It has raised 50 million in funding round led by Founders Fund, Peter Thiel joining the board. General Matter aims to address the US's reliance on foreign hello supply, high assay, low enriched uranium, particularly from Russia, by developing a novel, scalable, and cost competitive enrichment technology. The company plans to start shipping enriched uranium by the end of the decade and was one of the 4 companies selected by the US Department of Energy in October 24 for hello enrichment contracts worth up to 2.7 billion over 10 years. Details of its proprietary technology remain confidential, but it has submitted a letter of intent to the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission for licensing. Very interesting.
Yeah, like you thought about a bunch of ideas over the last few. Looked at other things to potentially incubate, right? Yeah, like you thought about a bunch of ideas over the last few. Over time, over the last 10 years. 10 years. Yep. Yeah, I'd say the people always ask me, "Oh, are you gonna ever incubate something?" Or not in those words. People externally would ask, "Hey, you're like a startup person. Do you like being a VC?" And I would say, "Well, Founders Fund's really different because mostly we're investing, almost exclusively we're investing. But then if there's something good enough that no one else is doing, we can start something." Yeah. And we've done it before. Peter's done it with Palantir. Yeah. It happened with Anduril. Yep. Happened with Varda. Yep. So could it happen again? Yes, but the bar is really, really high. Yep. And for me, the bar was really just, is this a really important problem that no one else is solving, and that somehow uniquely my background is relevant for? It would have to be really 3 things. We have to start this company because it's otherwise not going to happen. It's really important, and in some weird way, only we can do it. Mm-hmm. So it took 12 years to find that.
Wow. Last year, sat down with Scott Nolan to talk about the company he was incubating at Founders Fund. Today, General Matter, new uranium enrichment company, officially launched, 12 years in the making and only just getting started. 12 years in the making. So cool. Legend, I'm so pumped. General Matter. Okay, right over here. Let's see. Let's sweep General Matter. Enriching uranium in America to fill the nuclear fuel gap. Exceptional talent needed. Exceptional talent needed. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is uranium being enriched right here. In 30 seconds. 45 seconds, actually. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, so now we know where the logo comes from. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. General Matter is enriching uranium for the US. We will revive nuclear fuel production in America. We chose to do this not because it's easy, not because it's hard, but because it needs doing. Nothing gets made if fuel isn't made. America's ambitions from manufacturing to AI all require nuclear. It's the only source of energy that is reliable, scalable, and clean. It's not only our future but our present, powering almost half of our clean energy and roughly 20% of our grid today. But the US is forced to look abroad for nuclear fuel, and despite pioneering the technology, we have since outsourced enrichment to allies, competitors, and even adversaries. We didn't just give up the lead, we are no longer even the game. It's time to enrich. For the past year, General Matter has been incubated within Founders Fund with a team from SpaceX, Tesla, Anduril, national labs, and the DoD. We are undertaking an engineering challenge which, if successful, will fundamentally improve the trajectory of our nation. The raw material is embedded in the bedrock beneath our feet. America's future is written in stone. We are turning our potential into power, and exceptional talent is needed. Join us. Wow. Wow. I'll do it muscle mentality. America's future is written in stone goes incredibly hard. Uranium Digital, the first 24/7 international grade spot uranium trading platform powered by Solana. Whoa. Good idea. Love the name. General Matter. General Matter. I remember a lot of companies, like especially the startup that I was working on or working at, sorry, they were going through a rebranding process and they were looking at something very similar to General Dynamics or General Motors, a very simple name that, a very simple name, not trying to be cool, a very simple name that makes it legit, that makes it sound very credible. And they have done that. It's so hard to find a name like that today, to get a domain name like that today on Twitter, because Twitter is the thing. Twitter is where things happen. Do they have the generalmatter.com? Wow, they got the generalmatter.com. This is crazy. Okay. General Matter. All right, this website is going to be beautiful. All right. Oh no, it isn't what I thought. I thought as we keep moving into it, it's going to play this entire video of moving from stone to actual uranium stuff. But okay, anyways. Fueling American power, powered to increase prosperity, end foreign reliance, and expand frontiers. So that's a really good point, that America founded, or America invented this technology, and now over the years America has lost the ability to create on its own because you have just relied so much on adversary or allies. Nuclear energy made at home, turning the potential under our feet into reality. Our technology, turning the potential under our feet into reality, retaking the lead together. Leaders from nuclear tech, finance, and government, our team. Home Mission Technology, General Matter Inc., California, USA, 4:44 p.m. That's right, 4:44 p.m. You got it. All right, let's go. I want to read this all over again because they definitely spend a lot of time figuring that it's an important problem. They really spend a lot of time figuring this out, just working through the problem space. They're from Founders Fund, really important fund, really working on really important technology. So this is very interesting. General Matter is enriching uranium for the US. We will revive nuclear fuel production in America. We chose to do this not because it's easy and not because it's hard, but because it needs doing. Nothing gets made if fuel isn't made. America's ambitions from manufacturing to AI all require nuclear. It's the only source of energy that is reliable, scalable, and clean. It's not only our future but our present, powering almost half of our clean energy and roughly 20% of our grid today. But the US is forced to look abroad for our nuclear fuel. Despite pioneering the technology, we have since outsourced enrichment to allies, competitors, and even adversaries. We didn't just give up the lead, we are no longer even in the game. It's time to enrich. For the past year, General Matter has been incubated within Founders Fund with a team from SpaceX, Tesla, and Ural National Labs in the DoD. We are undertaking an engineering challenge which, if successful, will fundamentally improve the trajectory of our nation. The raw material is embedded in the bedrock beneath our feet. America's future is written in stone. We are turning our potential into power, and exceptional talent is needed. All right, we got that. Now we'll go here. Let's see what we got for the mission. Is it the same? America's future is nuclear. We help make the fuel. American progress requires nuclear energy. The US pioneered nuclear, the safest form of baseload power and the only emission-free, geography-agnostic source of energy. Geography-agnostic. Because if you're solar, you want to be in a place where there's a lot of sunlight. If you're wind, you want to be in the water, or again, place where there's too much wind. But nuclear can be set up anywhere. Geography agnostic source of energy, but self-imposed limitations slowed our progress, reducing our prosperity. Today's world requires us to once again lead in nuclear energy. Scaling compute, advancing manufacturing, expanding frontiers. Scaling compute. AI leadership requires growth. AI leadership requires growth in compute capacity and electricity production. Advanced or Gen 4 small modular reactors, SMRs, running on high SA low enriched will power that growth from behind the meter and on the grid. AI leadership requires growth in compute capacity and electricity production. Advanced or Gen 4 small modular reactors running on high assay low enriched HALO will power their growth from behind the meter and on the grid. Advancing manufacturing. Our manufacturing sector runs on reliable, affordable grid power. Our civilian reactor fleet, fueled by low enriched uranium, provides almost 20% of today's grid power and almost half our emissions free energy. Expanding frontiers, operating in remote, harsh, and austere environments requires steady, compact, low maintenance power. Containerized micro reactors fueled by HALO with long refueling cycles are an ideal fit. The US performs less than 1% of enrichment. We are fixing that. Today, America relies on. Okay, beautiful animation. You got Hawaii over here too, I guess. The US performs less than 1% of enrichment. We are fixing that. Today, America relies on foreign suppliers for almost all of our nuclear fuel, from LEO to HELIO. HALO. I say low enriched. From LEO to HALO. Producing our energy security, our national security, and our technology leadership. We are strengthening American fuel production to accelerate the growth of nuclear energy, restoring US leadership and power, our next wave of progress. Okay, really cool. So now we go. Okay, there's also our manifesto. Is that different? Okay. America needs power. Power to accelerate growth and increasing prosperity. Power to advance manufacturing, scale, compute, and expand frontiers. Power to end reliance on foreign adversaries. The future is nuclear. Nuclear power is the only source of electricity that is reliable, scalable, and clean. It is the single safest source of baseload energy, and it doesn't breathe our air or mar our landscapes. It is the most perfect form of energy ever discovered. America pioneered nuclear power. Like flight, space travel, and computers, nuclear energy was developed here in the US. Like flight, space travel, and computers, nuclear energy was developed here in the US. From reactors to fuel, we were once the world leader, but we stopped building new reactors. We outsourced fuel production. We became dependent on countries who seek to surpass us. We gave over our lead. Our only limitations were self-imposed. Physics showed a path, but bureaucracy blocked it, and decades of timidity abandoned it. Human will is clearing the path here in the US once more. We will lead again. Bro. The way this is written, beautiful. Our team shares a rare and specific talent, breaking into stagnant sectors and unlocking their potential. While others have shipped products, our team has shipped industries. While others have shipped products, our team has shipped industries. It is a new era in American power. Domestic nuclear energy will power an era of prosperity, safety, and self-sufficiency. All we need lies beneath our feet in the bedrock of our country, ready to power our communities for generations. America's potential is written in stone. We turn it into power. Domestic nuclear energy will power an era of prosperity, safety, and self-sufficiency. All we need lies beneath our feet in the bedrock of our country, ready to power communities for generations. America needs power. I'm going to read this all over again. America needs power. Power to accelerate growth and increase prosperity. Power to advance manufacturing, scale, compute, and expand frontiers. Power to end reliance on foreign adversaries. The future is nuclear. Nuclear power is the only source of electricity that is reliable, scalable, and clean. It is a single safest source of baseload energy, and it doesn't breathe our air or mar our landscapes. It is the most perfect form of energy ever discovered. America pioneered nuclear power. Like flight, space travel, and computers, nuclear energy was developed here in the US. From reactors to fuel, we were once the world leader, but we stopped building new reactors. We outsourced fuel production. We became dependent on countries who seek to surpass us. We gave up our lead. Our only limitations were self-imposed. Physics showed a path, but bureaucracy blocked it, and decades of timidity abandoned it. Human will is clearing the path here in the US once more. We will lead again. Our team shares a rare and specific talent, breaking into stagnant sectors and unlocking their potential. While others have shipped products, our team has shipped industries. It is a new era in American power. Domestic nuclear energy will power an era of prosperity, safety, and self sufficiency. All we need lies beneath our feet, in the bedrock of our country, ready to power our communities for generations. America's potential is written in stone. We turn it into power. Okay, I love this. I love this. We gotta tweet this. Okay. We'll do a citation and poste. Perfect. Let's go on Warpcast as well. And share this. Perfect. Okay. Now we go back to Grok and maybe let's see what we have missed. America needs power. When you turn into power, America's potential is written in stone. Will power an era of prosperity, safety, and self-sufficiency. All we need lies beneath our feet in the bedrock of our country, ready to power communities for generations. So we read the manifesto, we read the mission, and now our mission, our technology, yes, our team. Let's look at the team first. Working together to lead again. A culture centered around quality, impact, and urgency. If you belong here, please contact us. Leaders from nuclear, tech, and finance. Our team hasn't only launched products, it's launched industries. SpaceX, Bridgewater, United States Navy. Okay. So this is the team. Okay. Westinghouse, Tesla, Los Alamos, National Laboratory, Anduril, Schlumberger, Cloud Kitchens, Travis Kalanick, Sandia National Lab, Y12, and what is this? United States Special Operations Command, investors, IQT, Founders Fund, the backers of today's generational companies. Join our team to shape the future. Current openings: chemical engineer, design architect, electrical engineer. I'm curious, what is Schlumberger? What is Schlumberger? World's leading provider of oilfield services, founded in 1926 by brothers Conrad and Marcel Schlumberger in Paris as the electric prospecting company, headquartered in Houston, Texas. SLB specializes in technology for reservoir characterization, drilling, production, and processing for the energy industry, particularly oil and gas. It operates in over 100 countries with approximately 78,000 employees and reportedly 36.29 billion revenue. Services include seismic data processing, wireline logging, pioneering the first electrical resistivity well log in 927, directional drilling, well testing, cementing, stimulation, artificial lift, and well completions. The company is organized into 4 divisions: digital integration, digital solutions and data products, reservoir performance, reservoir optimization, well construction, drilling and well placement, production systems, production enhancement technologies. Beyond oil and gas, SLB is involved in carbon capture and storage, geothermal energy, and groundwater extraction. Has a history of innovation with significant contributions like the Schlumberger Dahl Research Center and the development of geosteering for horizontal wells. It has expanded through acquisitions such as Doble, Schlumberger, GeoQuest Systems, and Cameron International. Maintains a strong focus on R&D. The company is listed on the NYSE since 1962, faced controversies including fine for US actions violations in Iran. Okay. We go into our technology. Nuclear energy made at home. Strengthening US leadership through safe, affordable, scalable domestic enrichment. Made at home, strengthening US leadership through safe, affordable, scalable domestic enrichment. Mining and milling. So you first get the stone, then conversion, You convert that into powder, then enrichment, deconversion, and fabrication, and then you put them into these cells that go into the power plant, and from there you get the logo. Enrichment made in America. Nuclear fuel production relies on 5 steps. Taking uranium ore to finished fuel. American fuel production has a commercial bottleneck in the middle step, enrichment. Mining and milling, conversion, enrichment, deconversion, and fabrication. We are addressing this bottleneck through a novel, scalable, cost-competitive technology. By reducing the cost of enrichment, we will reduce the cost of nuclear energy. Mining and milling. Uranium ore is extracted through conventional mining and milling or through modern in situ recover ISR. A uranium powder called yellow cake is produced. Yellow cake. Uranium powder called yellow cake U3O8 is produced. Conversion. Yellow cake is converted from a solid powder. So first you convert into powder. Okay. Yellow cake is converted from solid powder into uranium hexafluoride UF6 gas. By using a chemical reaction in gas form, the different forms of uranium are more easily isolated. Okay. Enrichment. Uranium hexafluoride. Uranium hexafluoride molecules are separated based on the uranium isotope present. This refining process is used to increase the concentration of U-235 from its natural state to be useful for nuclear energy as LEO. 3 to 5% LEO plus, 5 to 10% HALEU, 10 to 20% general matter performs only this enrichment step. So you convert into gaseous form because in gaseous form it's easier to isolate. Different forms of uranium are more easily isolated. Separated based on the uranium isotope present, this refining process is used to increase the concentration of U-235 from its natural state to be useful for nuclear energy. Okay. Deconversion. Uranium hexafluoride gas is converted back into a solid using a chemical reaction, preparing it to be formed into fuel pellets. Enriched uranium is formed into small solid cylinders or pellets based on the reactor the fuel is being used in. Interesting. Okay, so we learned how this thing works on a very high level. Let's show this. ELI-Fi. Wow. ELI-Fi. Wait, how do we work? Explain like I'm Phi. How? Uranium enrichment works. Imagine uranium is a big box of toy blocks, but there are two kinds of blocks mixed together. Ones we really want and ones we don't need as much. The problem is the box has way more of 238 blocks, or a tiny bit of U35 blocks that we need to make energy in a nuclear power plant. Sorting those blocks to get more of the good U35 ones. Turn the blocks into gas. First, we take uranium, which looks like a rock, turn it into special gas. This makes it easier to sort the blocks because U235 is a tiny bit lighter than 238. Spin or push to sort. We use a machine like a super fast spinning toy called a centrifuge to spin the gas really fast. The heavier move to the outside, the lighter stay closer to the middle so we can separate them. Or we can use another method where we push the gas through our tiny filters that let more 235 pass through, collect the good stuff. After sorting, we collect the gas with more U235. This is called enriched uranium, and it has more of the blocks we want. The leftover gas with mostly U38 is called depleted uranium. Make fuel. The enriched uranium is turned back into solid form and used as fuel to make electricity in nuclear power plant, kind of how batteries power a toy. Hey, that's amazing. Now we know it. In the rocky form, you have both of them, 235, 238. You only want 235 because that's the good stuff. So you turn that into gas, separate them, separate 235, and then make stones or make the solid form of U35. Okay. Why is U235 more valuable than U238? Like two types of blocks in a box, 235 is super special because it can start a chain reaction like knocking over a line of dominoes, which makes energy in a nuclear power plant. It splits easily. 235 can break apart called fission when hit by a tiny particle, a neutron. When it splits, it releases a lot of energy and more neutrons to hit other 235 blocks, keeping the reaction going. 238 doesn't split easily, so it can't do this. The energy from 235 splitting heats water to make steam. Splitting heats water to make steam, which spins turbines to create electricity. Since 238 doesn't split well, it can help make power this way. In natural uranium, only about 0.7%. Wow. 0.7% is U235, while 99.3% is 238. Because 235 is so rare, we need to enrich uranium to get more of it, which makes it more expensive and valuable. Most nuclear reactors need uranium with 3 to 5% of 235 or more for special reactors. 238 can alone fuel them, so we value 235 for its role in making clean energy. 238 isn't useless, it can be used in other ways like making plutonium for reactors or an armor for tanks, but 235 is the star for powering nuclear plants, making it way more valuable for energy. Wow. What percentage of 238 is present in the final enriched uranium? Hey, with Grok, you can so easily understand things. Like, I clearly understand what is happening over here. This is crazy. The percentage of the 238 in final enriched uranium depends on the level of enrichment, which varies based on the intended use. Low enriched uranium used in most nuclear plants typically 3 to, so you are increasing the percentage from 0.7 to 3 to 5%. This means 238 makes up 95 to 97% of enriched uranium. High assay low enriched uranium used in advanced reactors has 5 to 20%. So 238 is 80 to 95. Weapon grade uranium for nuclear weapons, not typically for startups like General Matter, it's enriched to 90 plus, leaving 238 at 10% or less. For a startup like General Matter focused on HALEU, the final enriched uranium would likely have 80 to 95%, the exact amount depending on the specific enrichment level. Only a small boost in 235 is needed for nuclear reactor fuel. Wow. We understand so much stuff, what's happening over here. Peter Thiel's funding, HALEU startup staffed in part by some former SpaceX engineers, fuel for the next gen nuclear power plants. In finance right now, everyone is looking for that green glow, the best way to make money off nuclear power. Incubation effort comes as big tech looks to atomic energy to meet soaring power demand for AI rays. Former SpaceX engineer Scott Nolan, CEO of startup General Matter, is on a mission to help end Russia's monopoly on HALEU by producing it at commercial scale in the US and slashing its cost in half. HALEU is enriched to between 5 and 20%, which backers say has the potential to make new high-tech reactors more efficient. Uranium fuel used in today's reactors is enriched to about 5%. The nuclear renaissance underway in East Tennessee just got a major boost from Orano, USA. Advanced reactor services, enrichment conversion used, nuclear fuel management, nuclear material transport, federal cleanup, and nuclear medicine. Okay. Creation of 300 plus jobs. Orano's innovative work will support DBA's commitment to not only energy security, but also national security chief operating officer Don Moll spoke about a commitment to nuclear energy. Interesting. Interesting. Big news for nuclear fuel security. US uranium enrichment startup emerges from stealth. General Matter says it will use a novel, scalable, cost competitive. Oh, why did I hit that? Cost competitive technology to address a commercial bottleneck in the US nuclear fuel cycle and will be shipping enriched uranium by the end of the decade. Turning point in rebuilding domestic nuclear fuel supply. Okay, very cool. What I want to look at is just Scott Nolan's profile, and also something we can look into is, oh, we'll go here and here. Maybe we'll open Scott Nolan. What countries are leaders in uranium enrichment today? In Nova Post. Nuclear power is now basically an emerging market technology, with Russia as the dominant supplier and China as the main builder. Russia dominates uranium processing as the world's only commercial supplier of high-assay low-enriched uranium. Wow. China is working extra hard to secure the uranium it needs to supply all the enrichment and NPP capacity it is building up. Most of Kazakhstan, Namibia domestic production. Modern reactors require enriched uranium. Only a few countries have the infrastructure to provide enriched uranium, largest by far being Russia, also France, US, and UK, mostly a byproduct of nuclear weapon program. Never be viable for Australia to build an enrichment industry. Uranium enrichment is a critical process for producing fuel for nuclear power plants and in some cases for military purposes. It involves increasing the concentration of the fissile isotope U-235 in uranium. The leading countries today, based on operational capacity, commercial activity, and geopolitical significance: Russia, state-owned corporation Rosatom is the global leader. Rosatom is the global leader in uranium enrichment, controlling about 40% of the world's enrichment capacity. It operates major facilities like the Novoralsk and Angarsk plants as the only commercial supplier of high-assay low-enriched uranium at scale. Russia's dominance in exports, particularly to the US and other countries like China and South Korea, underscores its influence. China National Nuclear Corporation, CNNC, holds about 17% of the global enrichment capacity. It has rapidly expanded its domestic capabilities to support its ambitious nuclear energy program, with 56 operating reactors and 31 under construction. Also securing uranium supplies from Kazakhstan and Namibia to fuel its enrichment facilities, and is a confirmed producer of Halivet scale. France, through Orano, accounts for approximately 12% of global enrichment capacity. The Georges Best 2 plant, operated by Orano, is a major facility using advanced centrifuge technology. Key supplier of enriched uranium to Europe and US, contributing 12% of US imports. US holds 11% of global enrichment capacity, primarily through Urenco's facility in New Mexico and Centrus Energy's smaller operations. While the US is the largest producer of nuclear energy, it relies heavily on imports, 71.7% of its enriched uranium in 2023. With domestic enrichment capacity limited, efforts are underway to expand HALEU, but commercial high-assay low-enriched uranium, but commercial scale output is not yet achieved. Netherlands, United Kingdom, and Germany. These countries collectively operate through Urenco, a multinational consortium with a combined share of about 21% of global enrichment capacity. Other notable countries, Japan and Brazil, both have modest domestic enrichment capabilities for similar in use managed by local fuel cycle companies. Japan's capacity is small but supports its nuclear reactors, while Brazil's recent facility supplies about 70% of the Angra 1 reactor's needs, with plans to expand. Argentina operates a small gaseous diffusion plant at Pilcaniu reactor in 2010 but halted in 2018 with no significant commercial output. It is exploring centrifuge and laser enrichment technologies. Iran, North Korea, India, Pakistan, these countries have enrichment programs primarily for military purposes, but their commercial output is minimal or non existent. They are not major players in the global enrichment market. Geopolitical dynamics. Russia's dominance raises concerns due to geopolitical tensions, particularly after its invasion of Ukraine. China's growing influence is tied to strategic investments in uranium-rich countries. Commercial scale critical for advanced reactors. US and others are investing to close this gap. Market concentration, Rostom, CNNC, Urenco, and Orano dominate the market, most enrichment occurring in a handful of countries. What countries have the highest uranium deposits? This is crazy that you can ask a question like that and you have the response in front of you. Australia. Okay, so that's the reason they were talking Australia, that even though Australia has the deposits, still it's not good at it. Good at enrichment. 28% of global reserves, the Olympic Dam mine is the world's largest single uranium deposit. The Olympic Dam mine. Can we look at you? Can we look at you? Wow. Olympic Dam copper uranium mine, Adelaide, Australia. Great deposits of the world, Olympic Dam, Australia. Copper mark. Wow. Okay. All right. So these were the countries: Australia, Kazakhstan, and Namibia. 28% of global reserves. Kazakhstan. 13% of global reserves. It has about 50 deposits across 6 provinces, with the Sarizu Basin. Sarizu Basin. Kazakhstan. Wow. Canada. Whoa, 10% global reserves. The Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan hosts high-grade deposits like the MacArthur River and Cigar Lake mines. Uranium. Oh wow, it's beautiful. Wow. The uranium stocks in the Athabasca Basin, small caps. Right here. Vancouver. Way in the north. Russia. 8% of global reserves. Major deposits are in the Trans-Ural, Streltsovsky, Vitimsky, and Elkon districts. Namibia. Key mines include those in Erongo region, with Namibia being Africa's top uranium producer. Namibia. Dune 7. Are we looking at the right things? Erongo region. Wow, interesting. These figures reflect reserves recoverable at varying cost thresholds. As of recent date, Australia leads due to vast deposits while Kazakhstan and Canada dominate production. Resource can shift with exploration and technology, and undiscovered deposits may exist in regions like Canada's permafrost areas. Permafrost areas. How is an uranium deposit found? Were we looking at something else? Scott Nolan, yes. Let's look at Scott Nolan's Twitter. I spent over a year at Founders Fund searching for an American enrichment company to invest in, only to find there wasn't one. So we built our own general matter. This is very interesting. Like, yeah, Warda Space came out of Founders Fund. We interviewed the founder of Warda, Darian, on our podcast right over here, Billion Moonshots. Now we have Scott Nolan, who was looking for an enrichment company he didn't find. So he built his own. General Matter is filling the nuclear US fuel gap. We're enriching uranium in America and we will be shipping by the end of the decade. Rahul Rana is a friend. Okay, really cool. This is awesome. Scott Nolan. Perfect. Yes, environmentalists are rethinking nuclear, should they? 14 years after the Fukushima disaster, nuclear power is being rebranded as a climate savior, and fission is in fashion. Fission is in fashion. Fission is in fashion. Wow, that's a good one. Fission is in fashion. Fission is in fashion. Thanks for giving us a chance to back you and the entire Go to Impulse team again. Impulse Space. 150 million Series B. Okay. We can look at Impulse sometime later. Scott is basically the blindside device from Neuralink will enable even those who have lost both eyes and their optic nerve to see. Wow. Provided the visual cortex is intact, it will even enable those who have been blind from birth to see for the first time. The vision will be at first be low resolution like Atari graphics, but eventually it has the potential to be better than natural vision and enable you to see in infrared, ultraviolet, or even radar wavelengths like Jordy LaForge. Much appreciated. Chinese nuclear reactor is completely meltdown proof. The first ever full-scale demonstration of a nuclear reactor designed to passively cool itself in an emergency was a success, showing that it should be possible to build nuclear plants without the risk of dangerous meltdown. It's been a busy news week, but let's not miss this story. China has demonstrated the first commercial passive cooling of a high temperature nuclear reactor with a pebble bed module. They intentionally turned off the cooling and the reactor cooled itself down, no problem. Wow. Humanity launched more satellites in the past 2 years than we did in all of 57 to 2000. Co-founder at Aerospace. Age-related diseases. Neil Armstrong wouldn't of the moon. Our brains. If you know who this is, we can be friends. Warda Space Industries. Of our capsule ripping through the atmosphere, Mark 25 no renders, raw footage. make low Earth orbit accessible, form in orbit production equipment, reliable re entry capsules. Mike and I started working together in 2011. Our first project was a niche class at Stanford that quickly became something much bigger. What he's done at Pirate Wires is already impressive and important, but I have a feeling the trajectory will be a lot like that class. Can't wait to watch this next chapter of PW unfold. Welcome to the brand new Pirate Wire side, an independent home. Oh, whoa. This is from way back. Welcome to the brand new Pirate Wire site, an independent home for our community and work. Come check out the new digs and let me know what you think. Subscribe or die. Beautiful. Where are all the ads? You gonna buy some? Cool. All right, let's go back. Our question was, how is a uranium deposit found? Look for clues. Finding a uranium deposit is like hunting for hidden treasure in the ground, but scientists use special tools and clues to make it easier. Look for clues in rocks. Likes to hide in certain types of rocks like granite or sandstone that formed millions of years ago. Geologists study maps and old records to find places where these rocks are common, like in parts of Australia or Canada. Use airplanes or drones. Fly planes or drones with special tools that can detect tiny amounts of radiation from uranium in the ground. Uranium naturally gives off a weak signal, a faint glow called gamma rays, which these tools can pick up from the air. Check the dirt and water. Geologists walk around and collect samples of soil, rocks, or water from rivers and lakes. They test these in a lab to see if there are traces of uranium or other elements that often hang out with it, like radon gas. Listen with machines. They use machines on the ground that can listen for signs of uranium by measuring how rocks react to electricity or magnetic fields. These tools help spot places where uranium might be hiding deep underground. Drill to confirm. If they find a promising spot, they drill small holes into the ground and pull up rock samples. These are tested to see how much uranium is there and if it's worth mining. Drill to confirm. Put the clues together. Scientists combine all the data like radiation signals, lab results, and rock types to make a map of where the uranium deposit might be. It looks big and rich enough. They plan a mine. Peter Thiel quotes on Scott Nolan and General Matter. Board membership as endorsement. Unusual move for him, signaling strong confidence in Scott Nolan and the company's mission to produce Halo. No direct quote, but Trey Stephens said, "The government is certainly leaning into nuclear right now, and that hasn't always been the case, reflecting the fund's belief in General Matter's timely mission. Vision for nuclear energy. Thiel has long advocated for a new atomic age to address energy needs and economic stagnation, which aligns with General Matter's goal. In 2015, he wrote, the country needed a new atomic age to produce clean, abundant energy. This suggests Thiel sees Nolan's startup as a step toward this vision, especially given the US's reliance on foreign Halo. I don't know how to say this name, but you're pronouncing it really bad right now. Philosophy on innovation in startups. Investment in General Matter reflects his belief in backing country and high-impact ventures. His book 0 to 1 includes quotes that likely resonate with Nolan's approach. The best entrepreneurs know this. Every great business is built around a secret that's hidden from the outside. A great company is a conspiracy to change the world. General Matter's proprietary enrichment technology, kept confidential by Nolan, fits this mold of a hidden secret to disrupt the nuclear fuel market. Described as 100% focused on General Matter, with Thiel's board role indicating trust in Nolan's leadership. Founders Fund, co-founded by Thiel, led a $50 million funding round for General Matter in April 25, with Thiel taking a board seat, a rare move for him since resigning from Meta's board in 22. Thiel's focus on atoms over bits, hardware over software, and his critique of technological stagnation make General Motors' mission to reduce US dependence on Russian and Chinese halo a natural fit. Tell me more about Thiel's nuclear vision. Broader philosophy of technological progress, energy independence, and reversing what he sees as decades of stagnation in hard sciences like nuclear power. Providing clean, abundant, and reliable energy to power economic growth, address climate change, and reduce reliance on geopolitically unstable energy sources. Detailed explanation. Big picture. Grok still thinks we are asking like a 5-year-old, but it's okay. The big picture. Imagine energy like the fuel that makes a big toy city run. Lights, car, factories, everything. Thiel thinks nuclear power is like a super strong battery that can keep the city glowing without making smoke or depending on faraway places or fuels. He's upset that people stopped building better batteries like nuclear plants a long time ago, and he wants to bring them back to make the world stronger and cleaner. Too much on bits and not enough on atoms. Ultimate atoms technology, powerful, scalable, and capable of transforming how we live. Key elements. A new atomic age for clean energy. In 2015, Thiel wrote the country needed a new atomic age to produce clean, abundant energy. Thiel sees nuclear power as the best way to get lots of energy without polluting the air like coal or gas. It's like having a magic stove that cooks forever without making a mess. The country needed a new atomic age to produce clean, abundant energy. It's like having a magic stove that cooks forever without making a mess. He thinks nuclear can replace fossil fuels and meet the world's growing energy needs, especially for things like AI data centers that need tons of power. Unlike solar or wind, which depend on weather, nuclear plants run all the time, making them reliable. Thiel wants to revive nuclear to power homes, businesses, and new technologies, overcoming stagnation in technology. We wanted flying cars, instead we got 140 characters. People got scared of nuclear power because of accidents like Chernobyl and stopped building new plants. He thinks we have been stuck making small tech toys instead of big world-changing stuff like better nuclear reactors. He wants brave people to build new kinds of reactors that are safer and cheaper. Thiel points to regulatory hurdles and public fear as reasons nuclear innovation slowed. He supports startups like General Motors, which is working on uranium enrichment. Early energy independence and geopolitical strength. The government is certainly leaning into nuclear right now, and that hasn't always been the case. Wants the US to make its own nuclear fuel, like the special food that new reactors need, instead of buying it from places like Russia or China. It's like growing your own apples instead of asking someone far away for them. You are stronger and safer. This makes the country less dependent on other nations and protects against global conflicts. Thiel's investment in General Motors, which aims to produce halo domestically, aligns with this goal. The US currently relies on Russia for 27.2% of its enriched uranium, which Thiel likely sees as a strategic weakness. The best entrepreneurs know this. Every great business is built around a secret that's hidden from the outside. Thiel loves people like Scott Nolan and General Motors who have secret plans to make nuclear power better. He thinks building new ways to enrich uranium or design reactors is like finding a hidden treasure map that others ignored. By giving them money and joining the team, but like sitting on General Motors' board, he helps them make their ideas real. Thiel has critiqued green energy solutions. The environmental movement has been a spectacular failure in terms of actually solving the problem it claims to care about. Wind and solar alone can't solve climate change because they don't make enough steady power. Nuclear is like a superhero that can make tons of energy without any carbon dioxide smoke. He wants to use nuclear to keep the planet cool while still having enough power for everyone. Advanced reactors which need halo are smaller and safer, making them a practical way to cut emissions. How Thiel acts on his vision. General Motors investment, other nuclear bets, small modular reactors, those specific names are less documented, public advocacy, push for nuclear energy, criticizing regulations that slow it down, and encouraging entrepreneurs to tackle hard problems like nuclear innovation. More than just energy, it's about making the future better. give us endless clean energy like a never-ending battery, make countries stronger by not needing fuel from others, help the planet by stopping pollution, prove we can still build big, amazing things like we did in the past. Beautiful. Okay.